I'm back. This is Chandler for Melder Production, and today I thought I'd continue with this Drummer series, and I thought let's work on doing some effects, specifically risers, but of course you could use these for downers, and I'll show you how to do some reverses and things like that too. So let's get started. I'm going to go into the drum set editor here, and let's just load something. I'll do Scratch 1. So if you remember in the previous video, I made a sample of like an impact. So I have it here at the bottom, right? If I play this, it's an impact sound. And this is great, and I thought, what if I reverse this and use this as, something, just a reverse sound, so instead of just the hit, you get that, build up into it. And everything looks great, except for the fact that if you look at it, look how long this is. It's almost 3,000 milliseconds long, almost 3 seconds long. And that's not good. I want it to be a little bit shorter. And the reason is at 100 beats per minute, which is what the tempo I have here for my track is, 1 bar is 2,400. Now, if I could cut this down a little bit, that would be much better. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I cut this down to make it, closer to what I want? So one way to do this, if you have something that's really too long, is just go in here like this. I can even do this and just try to cut it at the right time. So 2,400, I'm going to try to get close. Now, one thing you need to remember, you don't have to get exactly right. So that should be good. Now, this one, I cut this down before. It was much longer, but you can do the same thing if it's, really close or if it's really, far and it's way too long. So I'll do this. Next thing I want to do is go into menu here, click export layer, hard hit. Okay. And now when I load this back up, you'll see it'll be shorter. Let's see if I might need to change to Scratcher or something just so I can load it up again. And let me see if it'll say on the side. Yeah, 2,500, a little bit shorter, so that's closer to what we want. Now, you noticed I'm using Scratcher, and this is what we want. So if you notice here it says length, this will allow you to change the length of the sample, and it also shifts it in pitch. So for this, I can either use the sync, or I can double click here and it'll sync it for me, show me in milliseconds. So if I do this and play it, it sounds about the same. If I move it down like this, or move it all the way up like this, that by itself is cool, but that isn't really what we want. I want to use this as a reverse. So all I'm going to do is just move this side up here and move this side here. There we go. And I can increase the volume a little bit. That's what I want. If I don't want so much of that hard edge at the very end, I can just pull this down here. So just move this closer to the end like this, and it should get rid of a little bit of it. That seems good. So that's how you can do a basic reverse. And another thing I should mention is here you can move this up or down to get different feels if you want to make it more like a riser. So this, I believe, will increase the pitch. Like that. So you saw it going up. If you do it more, it'll really increase the pitch. And if I do it like this, it will decrease the pitch. So you can make like a downer. Okay. So that's it. Let's do this over again. I'll actually do something a little bit different. So that's one basic effect you might want to use. Another one might be that kind of like dropping sound. It almost sounds like an 808. I'll show you how to do that very quickly and easily using this. So I'm going to go to Synthesizer 4NN here. And I can use one of these templates, but to do this, you don't even need that. All we're going to do is go into Editor here, turn off the noise. Then I'm going to go into here. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see it. Now, here, I can move this all the way up here and all the way down here. And I have a sine wave. And this is the pitch. So it's just going to create a huge sine drop like this. Sounds like a laser. But if I move this down here, It'll probably sound like a bit bassier hit. And let's move this up to around like 3,000 or something, or 30 hertz, sorry. That sounds like a bass drum. But we don't really want that. We want it to sound longer, like a drop. So go to the length here, and let's do like a 1-bar drop. So it'll be 2,400 milliseconds. And let's decrease the curvature here. Now let's listen to this. There's our drop, but let's do a little bit more. Let's go into the effects. Let's add some saturation or distortion. Saturator. Move this down about like 10 or so. Move this up about 7. Now let's hear this. I can move the wet dry down a little bit like this. Maybe a little bit more. And then I just need to put, big reverb on there to get that kind of cinematic feel, like you'd hear in a movie trailer or something. So something more along the lines of this. That's probably too much. And I should probably also high pass this reverb a bit too, like this. You can mess with that and do other things, but that's just an example. But let's get rid of that and let's do one more. I'm going to show you how to do a basic riser or something. So let's go into Scratcher again, and I can set this to whatever I want. Let's do another 1-bar effect. I'm going to go into effects here, and what I want to do is I want to find an effect that seems interesting, maybe something I can do interesting things with, and then layer it. So let's try this first one, Baby Rattle. That's okay. Let's try Belt Sander. I kind of like that, actually. Let's try the other one. First one. That's good. Now let's do the same thing as before. Actually, let's use the sync for this one. Okay. Moved the pitch down, but that's all right. Now let's reverse it like this. I like that. Now let's layer that with something else. So I like that one. Add another layer. Hit all. Now let's try something natural too. Maybe a cymbal. Let's try one of these Chinese cymbals. Oh, wrong one. Went to sampler for a second. Natural, cymbals, Chinese. Let's hear this one. Hear how it sounds. Sounds all right. Stretch it out to 1 bar. Sounds okay. Reverse it. Sounds okay. Let's increase it in pitch like this. Now let's hear them both together. That sounds okay. Let's put one more layer in there. Let's put something kind of strange in here. So I'll go to the effects. Let's see how the Baby Rattle sounds at 1 beat. Or 1 bar, I should say. And backwards. That's okay. Beer can. That's okay. Beltry. That might be interesting. Let's hear these all together. And it's a little bit too loud at the beginning. So what I can do is go to the envelope here and just make it a little bit quieter at the beginning and then get louder like this. I'm liking that for the most part. Now let's go to the effects and let's see, what can we do here? There's all sorts of interesting things we can do. I think I'll just do something basic. Let's try a chorus on here just to make it a little bit wider and more stereo. Let's hear how this sounds. We could do something else, but I think that's okay. Let's try perhaps some reverb. Do the same one. Let's not do that same hall we've been using. Let's try something more interesting like the rhythmic one. So let's try this electric 100%. Let's hear what it sounds like. That's kind of interesting. think the glass is a little bit more interesting. Let's move it to like 50% though. Here it has that ringing sound. That one's kind of interesting to me. And the metal one is similar. I think that's pretty cool. So let's take that and I'll show you some other ones I made that are similar. So we'll hit load and join. So that way it won't erase this scratch one. And see here I have one that says risers already. And that's where I have 2, 3, and 4. So I'll let you hear these. There we go. So let's hear 2. So this one, I just have a reverb effect, but what I did was I layered, actually let me turn that off so you can hear it by itself. I layered this, which is hip hop glass. That's pretty cool. This next one is a drill. And then I have a snare drum in reverse. And here they are all together. And then I put a reverb on it. Next one, let's hear number 3. So this one, I think the main thing is the tremolo, which I have out of phase, which creates the stereo sound, and I have the reverb. Let's hear it without these on them, just like this. It's fairly simple. So I just have a crash cymbal and a tom drum in reverse. And then crash. I think the real interesting thing is just the tremolo like this. So there we go. And let's check out the last one, number 4. So this one I'm using a granular effect. It sounds like this. So for this one, it's fairly simple. Layer 2 effects. One was this clank in reverse. And you see I'm using that trick where I bend it up a little bit so it rises in pitch. And then I did the same thing with the China cymbal. Together they sound like this. And then just put the granular effect on it like this. And I put the reverb on it. So I'll play all these in a row. This is the first one we made. So there you go. There's lots of different risers and they're all synced to tempo. So of course you could do more with this. If I really wanted to get into more things, I might use a synthesizer, but you can see here, if you want to do these types of like basic risers and things, you can get a lot out of this just by mangling the samples, and it really doesn't take that long. On top of that, you can do things like those big drops, and you can just do basic reverse drum hits fairly easily in here. So I hope this gave you some ideas. In the future, I'll try to put this together in a whole song, so this whole series will kind of work together. But if you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com, and until next time, see you.